Welcome back to my channel, Karlie Paige. My name is Karlie. Thank you for joining me today. It has been a little while. I had kept meaning to film this for the last couple weeks, but things just got in the way with how I was feeling, and I just knew it wasn't going to be that great of an episode if I filmed, so I just held off until I felt like it was the right time. That being said, now I do have quite a bit to show with you all, so that is exciting. And it's mostly test knits, some finished objects, some information about pattern releases from the test knits. So everything that I talk about today will be linked below. The items that aren't live patterns yet will be linked to my Ravelry project page. So keep an eye out for those if you're interested, because they should be coming out in the next couple weeks. And I also have some yarn acquisitions to share with you all, and some yarn dyeing that I did a couple weeks ago that I'm very, very excited to show you. So I think we'll just get started and we'll talk about some of the finished objects that I have and some of the latest release patterns. So let's get started. Let's start with what I'm wearing. So you've all seen this before. This is the Helianthus Tank by Andrea Gaughan Knits. I'm just wearing it over top of a jumper today. And I knit this up in, what was it, Ritual Dyes Undying in the colorway Slate. It is just a perfect summer tank. It's knit bottom up, and it is in a cotton linen blend, so it's perfect for summer. It is a twisted rib and a tubular bind off. So this pattern is officially released now. It is on Ravelry, so please, if you're interested, go check that out. Andrea has more than just this tank available as well. She's got lots of other patterns and some other exciting patterns coming up soon too. So I just wanted to wear this today to kind of celebrate the release of this live pattern. That happened probably like 2 weeks ago now, but I wanted to share it all with you and let you all know that it is available to knit now. I have linked the project on Ravelry down below, so if you're interested, you can go add that to your queue or save it to your favorites or whatever. So I've talked about this enough in previous podcasts. We'll go right into the next, which is a finished object, which was also a test knit for Minimi Knit Design. This is the CP04 Polo shirt, and this just got released the other day too. So here's my version. I'm very, very pleased with this. I've worn it a few times already. I've only shown this once before, and I didn't have too much of it done. But if you follow me on Instagram, I'll put my Instagram on. You have probably seen me post this, but it's just really like a classic piece. The yarn that I chose was the Noro Kakagori in the shade Shimonoseki, and it is a DK weight yarn, and it's a blend of cotton and silk and some wool, I think, and maybe polyamide. And it just has a beautiful blend of colors that kind of can pull from any other color in my wardrobe. That's why I went with it, because I just thought it was a really great color for this and kind of gives it, I don't know, like a more vintagey feel with this yarn, I felt. It was my first time working with the Noro Kakagori. I did like it. It's like loosely spun though, so it can break. I found weaving in ends was a little difficult because it did break. Thankfully, I just used one color, and it is a seamless top-down design, so there weren't too many ends to weave in for this. But it is extremely interesting construction with this. You start, I won't give too much away, it's a paid for pattern, but you start with the collar here, and it is double layer, and then you like join it all together and you start your increases, and you've got a nice shoulder here, And you've got this nice placket where it crisscrosses in the front. And then the edges are just worked with a 1x1 rib. And it's just a regular bind off at the bottom. But I felt like I learned a lot of new skills with this knit. It kind of put me out of my comfort zone. And one thing I did learn about this during the process of knitting this was to really like trust the process of knits. Even though this was a test knit, and when you know, going into a test knit, you kind of think there could be mistakes in this and you're kind of looking out for that just in case. I still learned that you got to trust the process and kind of like trust the pattern, because the construction just kind of like didn't make sense to me, but it only made sense when I just gave in and did it. When I was reading it, I was like, this doesn't make any sense, just how my brain works. But as I was doing it, it made sense. So I think I wasted so much time just reading it and questioning it. Whereas if I just trusted the pattern and went straight into it, I wouldn't have had all of those questions. So I felt like that was a good lesson for me for making and just kind of trusting it and going along. And it's a good reminder that everybody's brains work differently and not the same as mine. So it is good to let go and just give in. And if there's a mistake, there's a mistake. You let the designer know and rip it back and figure it out together. But there wasn't. It was all me. And I just delayed myself from working on it because I thought I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. But yeah, when you just kind of like, for myself anyway, when I let go and just follow the instructions, it all comes together. So I'm very pleased with this. I'll put up some pictures of my modeled photos for the finished object. And I was, yeah, very happy. I thought it would be a good summer yarn because it was cotton blend. It is a little more like woolly than I thought it would be, even though I don't even think there's that much wool, if any. I have the tag somewhere, but I'm not sure where. But it is fine for like a cooler summer day. I've been wearing these and it's fine with something over top too. But really love it. I think it's gorgeous, and the pattern is now live too. If you're interested in knitting this, it is linked down below. So go check that out if you like the polo shirt. Okay, so I did mention briefly in my last episode that I really, really enjoyed test knitting for Andrea, and I was so eager to do more test knits that one night I was just searching like the hashtag testers needed or test knitters needed on Instagram. And then I came across a bunch of testing calls and I applied for them, and I found them right away, like almost right when they got posted. So I think I was one of the first to apply for a lot of them, and that's why I got chosen for some of these, because I think that's a huge thing with test knitting, is just so many people apply, and if you're not one of the first for the sizes to apply for it, you might not get selected. And that was always my case before, is I would always apply much too late and all the spots had already been filled. And so yeah, it just worked out that one night that I kind of saw all of these tester calls right as they were posted, and I got into all of the ones that I applied to, luckily. So I'm very thankful for that. I think this is definitely my month of testing, and then I think I'll take a break after that. I do only test items that I really love and know that I'll want to wear or that I can give. And so yeah, I'm like feeling quite happy and pleased with the amount of testing I've been doing so far. And then I think I'll take a little break for the rest of summer, that's what I'm saying anyway, and do some other items that have been on my favorited or queued list for a while. Anyways, my next test tee is a children's pattern, and this is from Noelle Knits. It is the Viola Tee, and I am making this for my niece. So I'm doing size 2 to 3 years old. She is a year and a half, but she's quickly growing, and I thought this would be perfect for her. So as you can see in the photo, there's a beautiful scalloped edge for the sleeves and the bottom hem. This will be my first color work that isn't mosaic, so I'm very excited. I thought it'd be a good, easy intro to color work. Anyways, without further ado, here is my top for my little niece. It is just so precious. It's a quick knit, obviously. It's tiny. I just started this maybe 2 days ago, and where was I this morning? I was here this morning. I made a bit, and I'm hoping to get most of the body done today, so it's ready for the color work part. I'm just having a major knit relax Saturday today, so I can just get caught up on my tests and recharge from the last couple of, they were a little difficult weeks physically. So that's my plan today. Just get caught up on this. So this is just the sweetest little thing. And I'm using Life in the Long Grass sock base in the colorway Hearth. So this is just something I had in my stash, so I thought it would be perfect for my niece. It's a really just beautiful colors in there. I love the speckles, I love the oranges and the corals, the greens, the yellows. I plan on doing the scalloped part with this. So I think there's enough contrast there for the scalloped part to really pop. This here is, oh yes, this is Ancient Art Yarns Passion 8 base, which is a heavy fingering, and this is the colorway Irish Linen. So this too is something I had in my stash, so I thought this was a perfect test knit to join. Use up some of my stash. I've been really wanting to make my niece some more garments. This is adorable, she would love it. And I know I'll have a ton of this Irish linen left over too, so maybe I can make a pair of shorty socks or something like that afterwards. But so far so good. This test is coming along really well. Most of the testers are done. I was probably one of the last to start in the test group, which is always nerve-wracking when you're in a test group and everyone else is so much further ahead, but I was trying to get a few things off my needles before starting this, and knowing that this is a children's, I knew it would go by pretty quickly, and knowing also that I had this weekend to get a ton of it done. But yeah, seeing a lot of the other testers versions, they're adorable. They've been posting pictures of, you know, their kids wearing it in our group chat, and it just looks so cute. Some people have used cotton, which is perfect for summer and looks really cute. A lot of people I think are using the sock yarn. And the pattern does recommend knitting for olive pure silk, and I believe that's what the designer sample is made in, which is also so beautiful and lovely. So if you have some pure silk or some fingering weight yarn in your stash that's not enough for a garment for yourself, maybe this could be a perfect little project for when this is released. The test ends June 12th, I believe, so I'm assuming that the pattern will be out kind of mid-June, so you can keep your eye out for that if you're interested. My project on Ravelry is linked down below for that as well. Okay, I almost forgot about this one. So this was my other test, which is now, the testing is complete. You only needed to complete the yoke and one sleeve. It just ended the other day. I am almost done the whole garment. I just have to do the ribbing at the bottom. So this is my Wood Anemone Tee by Sari Nordlund. This one should be out pretty soon. I've got my project page linked down below also, but I really want to get this done. I've only done one row of the ribbing, and then I just have about 9 more rows of ribbing, then I can cast this one off. Now, what's exciting about this is my first time doing any circular yoke knit. So I've always just kind of been intimidated by them. However, this one, although it looks like a very intimidating lace work, it was actually fairly easy. However, that does not mean that it took me a quick time at all. It took me a very long time to finish this yoke. The only reason being is this was also my first time doing baubles, and I discovered that I absolutely hate making baubles. I love the look of them, but I think that this will be my last time doing baubles because they just really irritate my hands so much. So I think if there weren't baubles, I probably would have finished the entire garment before the test deadline. I mean, for the deadline, I was probably about down here, which was considered complete for the test, but just because of the baubles, it really slowed me down. At first, I made it about down to here, and then I had to rip back all the way to the ribbing because I screwed up on the lace. And I do this every time when I start laces. I really should just start with using stitch markers between each repeat. I didn't this time around, thinking I've done lace before, I can do it, and then no, it was all like shifted and things weren't lining up. So I ripped back, put those stitch markers back in, and now it's a clear pattern. I have not blocked or like wet blocked or steam blocked this yet, so I'm hoping after that the pattern will kind of pop a bit more. This is a double folded neckband, and I have not sewn it down yet, obviously. I really wanted to block it first and then sew it down just because I noticed it was kind of like twisting, so I thought maybe blocking it and laying it down straight and flat before sewing the two ends together, it would give me a more accurate direction, I guess. Just, I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, you can kind of see the ribbing slanting, so I just want them straight, and hopefully blocking will help. So this is made with Juniper Moon Zoe right here. This is a soft cotton linen blend, 60% cotton, 40% linen. And this is online, it says that this is DK, but in the yarn store that I got this from, they were saying it's lighter than a DK, and some parts are definitely lighter than a DK and some are like quite thick throughout. So I figured I'd go with it and give it a shot. And I did actually have to go up a needle size. I believe it calls for 3.5 millimeter, and I used a 4 millimeter. And that's what I used to get gauge. Before, I was kind of just sampling. I thought at first when I bought it that I'd have to hold it double, because I didn't like, I thought it was quite thin, so I tried it. And as you can see, just like the worst drape, and it's so thick and heavy, and that's not at all what I wanted for a summer knit. So then I tried it just single, so much better, way more breezy. And yeah, so I tried it single and went up a needle size and was able to get gauge that way. And it turned out really well. I am so happy that I didn't hold it double. I think it would just be so stiff and way too hot. It would have to be like a midwinter wear if I did that. But definitely happy with this. I'm proud of myself with this one. Again, being first circular yoke. Let me get a bit closer so you can see. The baubles are kind of set in right now. I'm hoping with blocking that I can kind of shape them a bit more. But a beautiful like leaf motif. And really delicate and nice. I would make this again. I would just omit the baubles and maybe do some like more yarn overs or something there instead, or just because, yeah, like I said, baubles are not fun for me or enjoyable whatsoever. So if I reach my goal with my little tee for my niece here, if I reach my goal this weekend, I'm going to try and finish off this little bottom part here. I would really love to have this completely done prior to the release of this pattern on Ravelry, so I can get some nice finished object photos and post onto my project page and on Instagram and show you all as well. So again, this is Sari Nordlund, the Wooden Anemone Tee using Juniper Moon Zoe. Oh, and I forgot to mention the colorway is Sage, which is color 58 if you're interested. This yarn, by the way, I really do love it, like how it looks in stockinette. I think it's really pretty and I would use it again. It's just one thing to be mindful of if it bothers you is it splits really easily. It doesn't bother me too much because I do love sharp pointy metal needles to work with, so I found that it was quite easy to like get out of the split threads, and it didn't cause me too much trouble. So hopefully going to finish this off. I'm like 90% done, and then I can wear it. It's just so lovely and beautiful. I have done a try on and it fits perfectly. It was, yeah. Anyways, this is size 1. And again, my project page is linked down below. The test finished on June 1st, so I do believe that the pattern should be out any day now, but I'm not positive on the exact date. So just keep your eye open for that if you would like to knit this one yourself. I'm trying to fly through these a little bit because, yeah, there's just so many little projects I've got going on, and it's been quite interesting to manage them all and to have good time management. It's a good way to practice time management in that, like, you know, you have to meet a deadline and juggle all these different types of knits. So some are more time consuming and more challenging and just, you know, not a TV knit, something you have to really focus on. And then some are pretty mindless in some parts. So it's just been interesting in kind of gauging how much time I'll need for certain knits and how much time I can leave for others. So far it's been working really well, and I've been proud of myself for that. It's been a good challenge. But it's also interesting to see how much you can kind of accomplish when you really want some certain items. But that's why I also want to take a break from testing after this, because it's kind of been more of a scheduled thing where after this I want it to be more of a relaxing, joyful process instead of regimented and structured. Anyway, my last test knit that's on my needles. I have more to talk about. So this is the Vine Tee by Athena Liu. This is one I've mentioned before. It is absolutely gorgeous. Let's see if I have my swatch. No, I don't. Anyways, I don't have too much of it done. I'm just doing the raglan increases. This one is due mid-June, and with this one as well, you only have to finish at least the yoke and one sleeve. I'm going to try and get the yoke and sleeve done this week, and then the remainder of that I'll have to complete as much of the body and the other sleeve as I possibly can. And this is what we have going so far. So, as you can see, beautiful raglan increases with the vine design in there. So it's got really easy, simple cabling to create that vine pattern there. So this would be the front. It'll sit like this. And ooh, from far away, it's so pretty. I love it. This is using the Ultra Pima cotton from Cascade. So it's 100% Pima cotton. This is just a nice cream. It's 37118 is the color. This is my main one. And then if you've watched any of my previous episodes, you'll know I've had this stuff from my partner that he got in Japan. And it's very, very light, almost like lace weight yarn at some points, but it's got speckles of pastels in there. So green, blue, yellow, pink, even a bit of brown. So I paired these two together because the base color of this, like the main color, is practically that. And it's just coming out with a really pretty fabric. I'm trying to, there we go. That's a good part right there. So yeah, not too much to show on this. This next week is when I'm going to just be working my butt off on this one. And it is a thicker DK weight yarn, so it knits up pretty fast. And once I'm done the raglan increases, then I think it will just kind of start to fly a little bit faster. So I'm very excited about this. I'll keep you all up to date on the progress as we go. Not much else to say other than I am doing a split hem version. There's like a no split hem and a split hem version. And yeah, I'll be doing the split. It looks like Athena's also designing the vine tank right now, which has that same kind of vine cabling motif down, like going vertically down. It's really beautiful and something I will probably want to knit when it's released too. See, is that it? I think that's it for my finished objects and whips. Now we can kind of go into some fun acquisitions and some fun yarn dyeing. I'll start with the yarn dyeing because this also has to do with a test knit that I am a part of. Haven't started yet. It's due mid-July. So that's going to be something I start after I finish the last two tests that I was showing you. So this next test is the Galax Tank by Andrea Gaughan Knits. And I'll put up a picture here. It's a really beautiful lace motif on the front and back, and it calls for fingering weight yarn. So I was kind of debating on what yarn I wanted to use. I haven't swatched yet, but I'm planning on using this yarn here. This is fingering weight yarn. And this is some very, very special yarn. I've got two of these because this is hand dyed by myself. So I've mentioned some of my dyeing experimentations before. I dye a lot of fabric, a lot of cotton and linen. I've dyed yarn once before, but this is my second time dyeing yarn. And this is made 100% with flowers. She just blows my mind. I'll put up a picture of what I first got here. And this was using only marigold and gladiolus. And I got like highlighter yellow, which is not at all what I wanted. I didn't really have a set plan for what color I was going for, but I did know that I didn't want that. So I let that dry. I kind of thought about it for a while. Then I had some dried hollyhock powder that I made up, and it was like a dark blue, dark purple, almost black color. So I submerged them and it came out with this, like the prettiest green in my opinion. I can't even tell you how proud I am of these. And what's so special about these yarns is, I've mentioned this before, but my mom is a flower farmer. So all of these dried flowers that I had that I turned into powder to dye with, they're all grown from seed from her farm, all harvested by her. So there's a lot of steps, a lot of time that all goes into getting this color and getting these skeins of yarn. So yeah, just something that I'm just beyond proud. It's something I really want to get into. I want to do way more yarn dyeing in the future. And my goals for yarn dyeing is to strictly only use things that come off of my mom and dad's flower farm. So it's all organic, it's all local to me, it's all grown from seed right where I grew up and 20 minutes from where I live. And it's something that I can like harvest myself and like process myself, and it's just so special to use natural products for dyeing. And I really love that I'm not buying natural dye online. Just knowing I have all of these resources already, I wanted to use as much of as I have in my own backyard. And yeah, so I'm going to use this for the Galax Tee. I thought it'd look really pretty with that lace motif in the front and back. And hopefully I'll have a bit left over and maybe can make a tiny pair of socks or something. But I was so excited to share this all with you. I could just hold this up and talk about this for hours. I really want to go. I don't have any more undyed yarn for myself to dye, but I am dying to go buy some more and dye up some more colors, experiment a bit and see what I can get. It's so fun to just mix all these powders together and you don't really know what it's gonna come out to be. but that's part of the fun. And next time I want to dye strictly with just the hollyhocks that eventually turn this to green, because I'm thinking it'll be like a purpley or a blue. Maybe it'll become a little brown. I don't know. But that's what I want to dye next time. And it's so fun to get green because a lot of my dyeing that I've done, it's so easy to get yellow dye from nature. In so many plants, you'll even use like the green from a lot of plants. And it all, like from my experience, all of them have turned out very like yellow, which is beautiful, but I wanted a green. And what's so amazing about this is I'm just so shocked about the depth of color with this, strictly from flowers. And they're all from the petals, and I'm not using the leaves at all. There is some variation in there, as you can kind of tell, a bit yellower. So I'm excited to knit with this. I'm definitely going to be doing helical knitting for this because there is some variegation in there. And I think that'll just even it out a little bit. But we'll be swatching for this with this soon and cannot wait to see how the color knits. Okay, enough of that yarn. You're probably all sick of me talking about that. Some of my other acquisitions, so I've mentioned that a lot of my gift knitting this year is going to be socks. I recently found a local yarn dyer. She's in Okotoks, which is where I'm from, and it's only 20 minutes from me. And she lives like 2 minutes from my sister's house, which was amazing. So I picked up some yarn from her, and this is from Yarn Ink, and I got this classic sock base. I got this one here. This is Jawbreaker, and then this one here, which is maybe like Peche, I don't know. But I thought these were beautiful. Nice speckly yarn. Thought they were great to have in my stash for some gift sock knitting. So do check out Yarn Ink. She's got a lot of beautiful, beautiful colors. And I also think she does a advent calendar. So if you're looking for advents and this is kind of up your alley, a lot of her colors are like this and speckled and beautiful, so she might be a good option. Another sock yarn I got, I really wanted some self-striping, so I saw Tiny Human Knits was doing her update, so I got some from the Lord of the Rings collection. And this is just a 50 gram with this contrast mini skein here, and I'll probably just make some shorties out of this for myself. I've always really wanted to try some cool self-striping socks, so I got that. And then here's one that is not at all what I usually go for, because online it looked vibrant and bright, yes, but in person it was like, to me, like double the vibrancy, and now I'm not the biggest fan of it. I am a fan of the texture, and I know that I'm going to enjoy working with this yarn. It's just the color, it's too Christmassy green for me. But anyways, this is the Cattail Silk Pearl Soho, 100% silk. And this is the colorway Midori. It's just, it was more mellow online, and there's something about it I don't like. And it's just not my color. So I don't know what to do with this at all. I was thinking, I don't know, I have no idea. It's not my color. I could make a Christmas top in the winter using this, and just wear it at Christmas time, and that's it. I don't know, you guys. I don't like it. It's too much. Online, I liked it. I thought this is kind of a fun bright green that'll get me out of my comfort zone a little bit. Not really, I'm quite comfortable wearing colors, but just something a little different, I guess. And this is not what I wanted. But I've been dying to try their cattail silk. What's amazing about this is you get 618 yards for 100 grams. This is made in Japan. So I really like the silk. I just wish I didn't get this color, but that's okay. I'm just going to let it sit for a bit. Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe I'll come across something that's absolutely perfect for this, but we'll see. Another thing I got was from Pearl Soho also. This is the linen quill that we always hear so much about. And I got this color here, which is the peach stone. I got 2 of these. I've been dying to make the LoFi shawl. And the LoFi shawl, I got inspired by Ariel from Ari Knits. She made one. It's just so pretty and it looks really comforting and just like an easier knit. And this is what I want to make. Like once I'm done with the test knitting here in the next month or 2, I'm casting on the shawl because I've been doing so many kind of like higher stress with deadlines and more complicated lace work and, you know, things like that. And lots of garments. I kind of just wanted some easy shawl that I can cast on where there's lots of stockinette in there or lots of garter stitch in there. And this is, oh my God, this is my first time getting linen quill. I've been wanting it for a really long time, but it absolutely is gorgeous. It is so soft. I want to make a blanket out of it too. So very excited about this. Happy with this color. It looked very true to what I saw online, unlike the cattail silk. That's okay. At least I'm very happy with this one. And yeah, I cannot wait. Ariel's version of her shawl was so gorgeous and pretty. And so she definitely inspired me to make one of my own. Let's see. I think that might be it. I say that as if I showed like one thing. But yeah, I'll end it there. There's just a lot of knitting going on these last couple of weeks. There will be continuing to be a lot of knitting as I progress through these tests. I hope you are all having a great time in getting into your summer knitting, I guess if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And yeah, I'd love to know what you're all making because I am starting to think a little bit more after these test knits of what other summer tops I want to make. So I'd love to hear what you're making. I'd also love to know if any of you are wanting to cast on some of these tests that I'm working on and if any of them stand out to you. Today, one last thing I'll mention is the local yarn store that's about 10 minutes from me is turning 5 today. It's Yarn Twisters. And Yarn Ink is going to be there. And I think they've got like a big sale going on and some treats and some knitting. So if I can get the energy to go out today, I might stop over there. But again, I don't need any more yarn. I mean, my stash is actually quite manageable and I'm proud of it, but I did just over the last couple of weeks buy those skeins that I've shown you. But it would be good to stop by and kind of see what's going on. And if there's a sale, it might be worth stopping in. We'll leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching and sticking around till the end. If you're still here, please consider liking and subscribing or commenting. If you haven't, it really helps out my channel and it goes a long way. And I appreciate it so much. I will see you all hopefully next week. I'll do a video. If not, it'll be in the next couple of weeks or so. Thank you all so much. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Bye.